Hello, I am Joe Painter with the People Chronicles, back again with another Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest Spotlight and a very special guest for this particular Spotlight. His name is Will Rapp. It is so good to see you again, Will. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Joe, and it's great to be here.
Changes and transitions.
Absolutely.
A lot going on, right?
Absolutely. A lot going on. Here we are on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the Berks Jazz Fest. Many people wouldn't have believed that long ago some creative people got together to start something that has now just become the talk of the nation.
Of the nation is
Absolutely.
Key there, no doubt about it.
Every place I go, people know about the Berks Jazz Fest.
Have you been involved since its inception? When did you get on board?
No, I can't say that. I came into the Reading area in terms of the co-conductor of the Reading Pops in the summer of 2000.
Okay.
And we became regularly involved as annual participants collaborating with the Berks Jazz Fest starting in 2009. Coincidentally,
so that's kind of
when
young.
the New York Voices first appeared at the Berks Jazz Fest.
Now, if you're wondering why we're saying these things, let's just put it out there. The Reading Pops Orchestra, Will Rapp is the conductor, and you will be performing on the finale day of the 25th anniversary at the Miller Center in the afternoon. It'll be the Reading Pops with the New York Voices.
Absolutely. Sunday, April 19th. Looking forward to it.
Sunday, April. Get your tickets now. That is going to sell out fast, and I'm not kidding about that. So your first association with the Reading Pops and the Jazz Fest was just 6 years ago in 2009, and that was with the New York Voices.
That's correct.
So this is a sort of encore performance for the 25th anniversary.
It is. It's a nice opportunity for the Voices to come back to the Berks Jazz Fest. Berks Jazz Fest being 25 years old, the New York Voices are now in their 27th year of being together. So it's a very exciting time. And all four of the singers, Peter Eldridge, Kim Nazarian, Darman Meter, and Lauren Kinnan are just absolute professionals in their own right. They all have their own solo and teaching and seminar careers, and they come together as just a fabulous quartet with a really indelible style of their own.
It's interesting that you mention teaching and workshops and clinics and jazz voice camps, because they're involved in all of those things. And you spent a large portion of your career in education as, the music chair at Kutztown University and multiple universities prior to that. And you made it your mission to have that program accredited, and you still work with accreditation and publishing. What's more important, if you can weigh one more, the education and passing that on to the next generation? Because I see a lot of musicians do it, or the performing. How do they intermingle?
Well, when you think about it, especially in the area of jazz, years and years and years ago, the only way anybody could learn anything about jazz would be to sneak into the nightclubs as an underage person, listen, participate, copy, emulate, because there was no teaching of the jazz curriculum in the school system. Now there is, and it's great. And young students are just excelling beyond belief. And the New York Voices are a great example of that. They started a camp several years back at Bowling Green State University. And I think all four of them are on individual faculty members somewhere in the New York state teaching system, higher education, coaching jazz voice. They, as we are so interested in the education, in passing it along, in enabling the next generation to have maybe the tools and opportunities that we didn't have at their age.
Keeping it alive.
Keeping it alive.
What were the challenges for the Reading Pops? Now, you became conductor, or co-conductor, as you said, in 2000. When this opportunity presented itself to align yourself to be a headline show at the Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest, what, if any, modifications or transitions or arrangement alterations did you have to do with your orchestra,
well,
the
it's
Reading
interesting
Pops?
that you ask that. Unlike some local organizations that might have a weekly rehearsal or something to that effect, the Pops is really a group of professional musicians that are contracted for rehearsal or 2 rehearsals at most, and then performance. Now, in the case,
so you can't make them practice?
Oh, they
with
practice.
you.
They practice
with
on
you
their
together.
own. No, because it is a union orchestra.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a limited number of rehearsals. So generally, for example, for our upcoming collaboration with the New York Voices, we will have a single rehearsal the day before on the Saturday, and then Sunday, the day of the show, we will rehearse those same charts with the New York Voices, and then perform the show that afternoon. And that's been our MO ever since we've started these collaborations. Our professional musicians are used to getting the music in a very short amount of time, assimilating it on their own. We get the kinks out on our own in the orchestra rehearsal, and then put it together with the artists the day of the show.
Think about what he just said. Very little rehearsal, very little upfront time actually seeing the music or the program, and bam, because you've probably seen the Reading Pops and you go, wow, you're blown away by the music, it envelops you, and it's a wonderful thing. And so as an audience member, in my mind, I'm thinking they must just practice this night and day and live it every day. And that's not the case. That's not what you're describing. So that's the orchestra piece. Now add to it the New York Voices. First, for those who don't know, how would you describe the New York Voices? I mean,
well,
or liken them to.
If people have heard of other vocal jazz groups such as Singers Unlimited or the Manhattan Transfer, I would say, and many people have said, that the New York Voices are certainly firmly a part of that legacy, of that style. And yet they sound different than those other two groups. Darman Meter is the creative force behind the New York Voices in terms of his orchestrations and arrangements and skill in combining the vocalists in this very close harmony. I read with great interest the story of how the New York Voices were originally a group of 5 singers. And then one of the singers decided it was time to retire, and they auditioned for that opening. And they heard over 60 vocalists nationwide before they settled upon Lauren Kinnan as being that new vocalist. And I think that was in the early 90s. And when I think about, my goodness, hearing over 60 talented singers. It had to be
selecting one.
Yeah, selecting the right voice, the right mix, but also someone that would have to have a very keen ear and a great sense of being able to read the music and put together a tremendous amount of material in a short amount of time. I know when I got the scores in 2009 as the conductor, I was impressed at the not only the quality of the scores, but the complexity of some of the scores. A lot of times we will play shows where it's almost sight readable. You just walk into the book and play it and it's fine. But there were some things that I think our musicians really had to work out in advance on their own because of the high level of musicianship that these 4 demand.
So they are presenting the arrangements to you.
Yes.
And they're very
correct.
versatile in their arranging styles and their vocal styles.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we did the show in 2009, it was called a baby boomer type show. There was a Beatles medley in there. There was a great Carpenters tune, Hurting Each Other, in there. There were some Joni Mitchell tunes in there. There was
You
some
brought a
Joe
sample,
Beam.
didn't you?
I did. I just thought
could
of
we
that
listen
show.
to?
That Karen Carpenter tune, Hurting Each Other. So skillfully done. It's actually a live performance that they did with orchestra. Nothing that's ever been released commercially, but at least would give the listener an idea and a window into the beautiful sounds of their voices, not only individually, but in the close harmony.
Let's give it a listen. You'll hear it first here on the Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest Spotlight.
As my love, for nowhere in the world could there be a boy as true as you love. Oh, my love, I give gladly to you. All your love, you give gladly to me. Tell me why.
Wow, I see what you mean now.
Isn't it terrific?
Layers upon layers. It's just full and lush.
Yes.
So I think what you're telling me is you don't have any idea what you're going to do in April, do you?
Not yet. Not yet. At the time that this our session here is being taped, it is in advance of our receiving any scores or music books for it. But certainly by the middle of March, the music will be here. We always try to get our music out to our professional musicians 2 weeks in advance.
So you have no inkling even in terms of the direction of the theme of the show?
Not yet, but again, they're a very busy group. I know
Yeah.
they've accomplished so much in the last 6 years. I'm just excited to see what's going to be in the box when I open it up. For me as a conductor, it's one of the great Christmas presents that happens several times of the year when a show just sends us their books. I open it up and I go, wow, this is
that's
what we're going to
cool.
do.
That is really
So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little Christmas in the middle of March.
As the conductor, who's conducting whom? Would it be the voices coming to town and saying, look, Will, this is kind of how we envision it. Here's the pace. We want to pick it up here. Or do you get more of that artistic direction?
No, they really are the leader. They know
Okay.
exactly how they want
Okay.
to do things. And my job is to keep the orchestra with the singers. Just as if it would be if we had a major concerto soloist playing,
Right.
as let's say a piano concerto with us. Our job is to keep the orchestra with the soloist, make the soloist as happy as they can be. So in this case, it is my job to take those orchestrations and make them match exactly. And that means I've got to know the right tempo, I've got to know the feel, and it all has to happen.
You're an amazing talent yourself, Will,
Well,
and what you've done with the Reading
I'm
Pops.
learning all the time, and
Well,
it's
that's the beauty of it.
It's shows like this that help me to keep growing and developing. Again, yes, we are teachers, but we are all students as well.
You know what? That's nice. That's exciting because you're learning, you're growing. It's certainly not a ho-hum situation.
Not for us.
And it won't be for you either. Get your tickets. It's April 19th, right?
Yes, Sunday.
And it's Sunday afternoon at the Miller Center. Tickets available now. They will go quickly. The Reading Pops with the New York Voices. And with us this afternoon, Will Rapp. He is the conductor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
My pleasure.
Sweet.